Hey adventurers, welcome back where we're in Kansas about to explore a wonderful, amazing, special place. So let's get straight to the intro and move on. Guess what, guys? We're going to Oz today. Well, at least the museum. We're visiting Kansas where they have a very unique Oz museum, and I didn't pack my ruby slippers, so I guess we'll have to wing it. I'm so excited. I walked through this door and I am magically transported into Oz. Now, I did get some good information before coming in here. This is the only museum exclusively representing Oz in the entire world. And they have artifacts from every portion of the wonderful, wonderful Oz world. So they have things from the books, the movies, the plays, everything. And as soon as we walk in, we're greeted by Dorothy and Toto. I'm happy already. So happy we came. Each display has a little tidbit that we need to know about what's going on. They have definitions, quotes, everything, and they're all right down here at the base. So as we're walking through, we can get a true engulfing history of Oz. Everything in these cases behind us are all of the different collective works of the author, L. Frank Baum. And he didn't just write one Oz book. There were multiples. Like, each character has a dedicated book that tells so much about them, and it's so interesting. And then he also did all of these other styles of books about different subject matters. So right in this case, you get this huge, like vast, amazing knowledge of the author, and we haven't even gotten to another wall yet. This is right as we walk in. So this wall shows the original artwork from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, created by an illustrator for the Chicago Herald. But there was a dispute amongst the royalties, so they moved to a different artist. And this artist created a vastly different world of Oz. As you can see here, the Scarecrow and the Scarecrow don't look anything alike, which is probably why we have so many variations in the films that we have today, the musicals, and all of those things, because they were going off of two very different styles of art. And then as we move forward, there is a case right here in front of me, right here. Did you know that Oz was so popular? It wasn't just one of those things that happened here in the US. No. Everyone around the world loves Oz, and these things in this case reflect that. They're all from different countries. So you can look down on a key that's right in front of us and see where they're from. Let me show you. So this is the key. And you find the work on the wall, which is right here, and then you can go over here and see which country this comes from. So for example, number 40 is Spanish, so we can go over here and we can find number 40, which is right here, and this is the Spanish version of the historic writings. A little documentary? I think we shall. Have a seat and watch. This case has a lot of different Munchkin artifacts. So we have some of the little collector's things, and then some of their actual pieces, which are really, really unique and really interesting to see. It gives you a scale size because You see things on TV, and even if the Munchkins are shorter, they're still larger than life. And so this gives you a real representation of what they wore in that beautiful, amazing land of Oz that we all have grown to love. I have learned so much just being here and watching the video and reading these things. Whenever they moved into this Technicolor from this black and white sepia tone, it's so interesting to see the levels that they went to just make colors pop. The ruby slippers were just an ordinary pair of shoes that they put this netting over and actually attached the sequins to. The Munchkin colors were chosen so that they would contrast the background in such a way that they would really pop and you would understand and feel those characters, and that is just so amazing. Even the details that they put in on the Scarecrow's face to make him look like he had a burlap face. So much detail. Toto was the hardest member of the cast to cast because they couldn't figure out exactly what kind of dog was used for the illustrations, and they wanted to be as spot on as possible. Finally, they ended up casting a little dog who was actually a girl, not a boy. Just saying. And it was the lowest paid member of the main cast. Toto received $125 a week. Now, that might not seem like much now at all, and to some people it still could, but when you think about how much everyone else made, the dog got paid very minimal. But the Munchkins got paid less. The first pair of ruby slippers to ever publicly sell sold in 1970, and they sold for $15,000. They were then anonymously donated to the Smithsonian, where they stay on display to date, along with a lot of other Oz artifacts, including the original script for the screenplay. There are tons of little notations all over that, and I was so excited to see that whenever I went to DC and the exhibit was closed. But it's back now, so if you happen to go check that out. The Smithsonians are an amazing resource for so many cool things. But let's move on and finish up with this museum because it is amazing. There's even troll dolls. Oh my goodness. Troll dolls! Like, their hair is insane in true troll fashion. But the only one that really makes sense to me for the hair being crazy is the lion. Duh. When it comes to effects, this movie had it all, and one of the things that they had was a tornado. This is a recreation of a similar style of tornado that they used. The one that they used for the movie was 35 feet tall though, and they used piano wire and muslin to create this effect because they didn't have all the crazy stuff that we have now. They just didn't. Not to mention, they used Technicolor. Technicolor made the expense so much more, 50% more budget just to have the beautiful, vibrant colors. But could you imagine the world without all of those colors? No, I think not. For this reason, MGM was the only studio that would touch the film because they were the only ones who had the exuberance in their budget to be able to do that. So they had all of these cool effects and so many more. This case right here details a lot of those different effects and how they achieved them before the world that we know today, where everything is just a point and a click away. It really is spectacular. Some cool facts about the museum. A lot of the things that we're seeing were actually a part of the original collection of an independent owner who had been collecting. They made this possible for the community to share such a unique experience. There are over 20,000, that's right, 20,000 pieces here. And it's amazing. They do rotate these pieces so that it's always constantly an evolution and a change, and the museum actually is acquiring additional pieces as they go to add to the collection. So it's just really, really interesting that this visit might be different than my next visit. Who knows? You can come in and view the movie in its entirety throughout the entire day here. It is 24/7 Oz on the big screen, and it is well worth it to sit down and just enjoy some of those favorite scenes, and in such a cool place. I mean, this has definitely got to be a bucket list. Watching Oz at the Oz Museum in Kansas? Yes, I think so. They just don't have popcorn. You know me, I'm always going to find a bunny if there is one to be found, and guess what, guys? This picture right here is a lot to process. If you just look at it from a distance, you see the scene, but if you look at it up close, I found a bunny. Do you see it? Do you see it? Are you looking carefully? Look at this. Boom! There's a bunny! Making it part of the lion, which is probably really completely the opposite of what it should be doing. Isn't that cool though? We're about to go into a very dark place. And I'm not saying that like all of those people who get online and are like, I'm in a very dark place. No, I mean it like it's really actually dark. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna show up too well, but we're gonna try. Ooh. It's spooky. Ooh. We are in the haunted forest. I only know that because the sign tells me so. What story of Oz would be complete without the Wicked Witch? None. Hello? We need the witch to have the story. Huh? So while I'm here, this section is dedicated to the witch, and I thought it was very fascinating. There's several things that you can learn from these cases that are around, as well as the video in the front about this particular role. For example, did you know Margaret Hamilton was told by her mama to go out and get a real job? She needed to have something that could pay the bills, so she was actually a teacher and opened a nursery school before she found her way into roles like the Wicked Witch. Also, there was an issue during the filming that created a little bit of a stir. The trapdoor that jumps down and creates that cool smoke effect where the flames go up. Well, guess what? They had a misfire. Whenever they had a misfire, the broom caught on fire, and in return, she was burned. After that, she didn't do stunts. I don't blame her. I think one of the things I love about coming into this museum is that there are so many memories. As I walk around, I see the movie or the play or a variation, and I've witnessed a lot of these, and so they're a part of who I am. And I saw this guy, and I loved this movie, but it also scared me a lot, like a lot. And something I did not realize until I actually saw this display was the little girl who played in The Return to Oz was actually the girl who was a witch in The Craft. I never put two and two together on that somehow, not sure, but here she is, right here, as a child. She was such an innocent, cute little kid, and then she went all cuckoo bananas just to show her range, I guess.
All you have to do is click your heels 3 times and say, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home."
No, I'm still not back in Texas. This was always one of my favorite moments of the entire movie. It just was. I loved this moment so much, and I always wanted to go through these gates right here and then see the horse of a different color that just continuously changed colors. I loved color then, I love color now. I don't know why that doesn't exist. Like, it's 2019, guys. Why haven't we figured out how to do this yet? Get back at me. So we've moved inside the Emerald City, where we're learning a little bit more about, of course, the wizard and Glinda. And this is a pretty interesting area. They have cookie jars for each and every one of these, and they're just so cool. I've seen them through the entire museum for each character, and they're just so beautiful. I can only imagine they're worth a lot. That's why they're behind glass. These cabinets are so interesting because they show how the legacy just continues to live on through new and exciting different representations. These are things that kids today can relate to, but that have such a rooted history in something that's such a classic. And even through music, The Wiz, there it is, right there. I think that that is a super relatable version to a lot of people, as is Wicked over here to an entirely different group of people. I think that that is the testament of this Oz legacy, is that it can have so many different faces, people who are interested, stories that are told, and memories that are made. Something very interesting about Glinda, aka Billie Burke, was that she actually started out way before this. She did a lot of different Broadway things and actually had retired, but then the stock market crashed, and whenever it did, it forced her to have to go back to work, and she happened to get this role, and now it's one of her most infamous roles she ever had, as it was with many of the other characters. It's just fascinating how one Opportunity can change your life. I think that's one thing that is consistent amongst my blog and my travels, is just acknowledging that the small things around you that you may find insignificant at the time or something kind of interesting but not the big deal could end up being the one moment that you need to change your life. This is something I always find fascinating whenever you're looking through the visitor's book and you can see all of the different places that people have come from. There's a lot of different states that are represented in here, even all the way up to Alaska. And then you get into these, and this is Australia, and I saw in here a while ago that there was someone from Japan. It's just fascinating to see how many different people really are impacted by this story and come to Kansas to get a little bit closer to that feeling. Now, as we emerge from the museum, we are right here in the gift shop. So there are so many cool things, and I already see something that I love. Look how cute they are. They're little ruby house slippers. So if you decided that you wanted to pick up some house shoes that are themed, this is the perfect place to do it. There's also tons of different shirts and memorabilia, and I'm going into the book room. Would be complete without all of the DVDs. Let's see, The Wiz, oh my goodness. We have Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. We have The Great and Powerful Oz. There's the Smithsonian Channel version, which is phenomenal, and if you haven't ever seen that, you should order it for sure. You can get your very own Toto. He's so cute. My dog would be so upset if I returned home with a dog, though. Sorry, Toto. Feeling a little witchy? You can get your broom. And it's not a Harry Potter broom. This is the OG. Nimbus who? No. Yeah. Wicked Witch. Feeling a little bit more Glinda? You can be Glinda too. Yeah. Pick your witch. They have something for both of ya. Good witch, bad witch. Good witch, bad witch. Thanks guys for coming by and going down to the magical world of Oz with me, where we saw all of our favorite memorable friends. Now, we're about to hit the little yellow brick road and head on down the highway to our next big adventure. So if you've liked today's adventure, please make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications of future uploads, and remember, there's no place like home.